Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another decent deck profile, and this time I'll be offering the new Bavsargra as the deck profile for the recent set DC BD07. We actually get support for Bavsargra, and it's basically a new, completely new right line with a new main Vanguard with new weapons and then kind of like a new way to actually play the deck, and it has like basically got a lot of eyeballs from a lot of people, not only because she is a good waifu option if you want to, but her skill is also very strong. From before, Bavsargra has been a very strong Vanguard, but then her weakness is she's only doing 3 attacks, and just like a lot of 3 attack stacks, they usually don't get that much of a like spotlight until they starting to get the 4th to 5th attack. And with this deck now you can actually do that, so that's why people are taking her as one of the options if you're going for tournaments, right? So let's go through the deck and see what is being improved. So for the red line, we are using the completely new red line. Zero doesn't matter what it is, but then it does matters on the Great One skills because it needs the right name. So when the 1 is on the 0, you can Soul Blast 1, which is basically the 0, and then reveal the new Bavsargra from the right deck. And then if you're going first, you can choose to grab the new sword or the new shield. But if you're going second, you can get one of each in the triple deck. So like if going first, like usually you grab one, and if you're going second, now you have all the pieces you need. So you can use them for the cost of something else later, or you can use it for your right deck anyway, which is still going to benefit for you. And when you go into the grade 2, actually nothing happens yet, because before you can actually grab one of the equipment from the drop zone, so you can use it kind of like cheating for using the right deck, because you drop it, you will get it back. But now it skips a turn for doing nothing on grade 2, but when your new Bavsargra ride on it, you can Card Blast 1, and then from your deck choose up to 2 equipments with different names, put them to the drop zone, and ship your deck. And then from the drop zone, you can actually choose one of the equipment and equip to your Vanguard. Now, this kind of flow allows you to already equip an equipment before you actually play with the equipments, right? So you can just get the 2 pieces normally through the red line, but the grade 2 is also kind of a weak point of the deck, because if you have seen how some players actually play in the JP side World Championship, what they do is to not give a single damage to the Bavsargra deck before they get a grade 3. So they can grab 1 or 2 pieces, they go into this, wait for a turn for nothing, and then go into 3. Because they don't have a CB, they cannot actually drop 2 more equipment, so they stay in the deck, and they cannot simply equip 1 of the equipment from the drop zone, right? So if you're a Bavsargra player playing this deck, you do need to think about this kind of situation, what you want to do, because if you don't care and you just drop all your equipments down, then you might not be able to equip 2 of the equipments, because for your Bavsargra skill, you can actually equip 1 of the arms from the drop by putting a card from into the soul from hand, right? So you can do that, and then you can normally equip 1 if the grade 2 skill didn't get to pop, right? But if you already drop every arms you have to the drop zone and use that to pick one up, that means you cannot do the double ones, right? And this can be painful to you. So if you are facing this kind of situation, like if your opponent is not giving you damage on your grade 1, you should be prepared that they are not going to give you a single CB until you get to grade 3, and you do need to keep at least one equipment in hand and then one in drop, so that you can use your Vanguard skill to equip one, normally equip another one to get the 2, right? Or if you think you will be fine, then you can equip one, but I don't suggest that, because the shield is very important for you to survive, right? So somehow you need to equip the shield, and if you do not equip a offensive arms, then it will be a little bit tough for you to keep doing the grinding and fight back. So that's what I would think and what I would say. Hopefully this can also like give you an idea what to expect from your opponents trying to stop you, even though the right line is actually quite strong. But there will be players not allowing you to like fully benefit from the right line, right? And then for Bavsargra, you can always just do the Soul Blast 2 to retire your opponent's front rows if you have 2 or more cards armed already, and again a crit. Now if you cannot retire a single card, you can draw a card. And here is another thing that your opponent will always do. Not that they will only not give you a single CB until you get to grade 3. They will always keep a unit to the front row, so you cannot get the draw. So do expect you probably won't be getting draw that often, or you won't be able to pop 2 to maximize your retire. That will happen, right? But that doesn't mean you shouldn't pop the skill, because it's still gain you a crit, and that is still a very important factor for you to win, right? And a once per turn skill, when Bavsargra is armed, you will energy charge 1, so you will simply get to 7 energy very fast from grade 1 to grade 2, from grade 2 to grade 3, use the skill, right? And then like use or normally armed for once, and then you already get 7 energy. Then a lot of players would choose to use the 7 energy blast to draw a card. Up to you, but it's there for you. And if you're going second, then you will get 3 from grade 1, 3 from grade 2, 3 from grade 3, arm to be 10. So there's a lot of things that you can actually utilize, which is one of the strong point of the deck. And when you arm, not only that you gain the energy charge 1, but you can also choose a grade 1 or less card from drop, call it to Rigor Circle. If you choose a card with Fire Lord on its card name, you can actually overdress it on top of it, Trick Moon on your Rigor Circle instead of just normally calling it. So that is also very helpful, because in the past, if we are going to play Fire Lord, you actually need to keep it in hand and then reborn a Trick Moon and then overdress on top of it. But now it allows you to set up your Fire Rod a lot easier, and you can simply just put them in the drop zone and then reborn them later when you see your Trick Moons. So that is a very big step to the deck. Now going through the main deck, we first have maxed out our personal rights. Of course, we need souls, we need the power from the front row. And then for the arms, I'm using 1 shield, 3 swords, 1 axe, and then 1 hammer. So the sword and shield is a must in the deck, because you will be searching through your grade 1. So, and it's very important for the shield. usually you will get the 10k for using it, right? But now you can simply Soul Blast 1 to make it to a 20k power buff for the battle, which is already a big move, because you don't always need to Soul Blast 1 for it. If you think 10k is enough, you can just keep the 10k, but if you want the extra 10k is there. And when you equip this card, it doesn't say when you play it, when you equip it, you get to draw one. So somehow that is also why we link to the axe, that you can get to switch, and then you can go back to the shield to draw more cards. Alright, so that is already, to me, is a very big move, giving you a draw, giving you extra shield value, making the shields a lot stronger. And then for the swords, when you equip, you can choose one of your Vanguard, and for the turn it will get a permanent skill that all your front row unit will get plus 5k. And if the armed unit is attacking a graveyard or higher unit for the battle, you can choose to have that unit to plus 1 drive, and if you do, by the end of the turn you need to put this card in the drop zone. Right, so if you're fighting a graveyard or higher Vanguard, you always equip yourself with a sword, then you can always have the option to go with 3 drives. And do notice that I did say an option, because it is an effect that you can choose to plus or not. And if you did not declare it, there will be people telling you you will not be getting that drive because you didn't declare it. So make sure when you attack with your Vanguard, check all your cards, look at your sword, think if you want the triple drive or not. If you want, declare it, plus 1 drive. If you are okay, then just leave it and do a chain drive. But if you choose to not to declare it, and then you did the third check, you could have some issue happen, especially in like a very official tournaments. People can just call a judge and say you didn't declare it, and then you go for it. You might get a warning or whatever. But yeah, just try not to ruin yourself into that. Make sure you declare it properly, everything will be good, right? And then with the axe, one thing is it can switch with the shield, so you can reuse the shield, but also this card is doing the guard restrictions to your opponents because they need to call at least 2 cards from hand, and if they have a lot of PGs, then they need to give you a lot more stuff unless they use the Blizzard PG. So, and this is reusable every single turn, so yeah, you can see how scary it can actually get into if you keep utilizing it. And with the hammer, it can just pop back roll and then plus 10k to your Vanguard, and then it can just recycle another arm, so it still helps you out. But more importantly, it can swing at the back row to pop something. So for example, if you're facing the lyrical boss, you can just look at the Yuka and then like, okay, I equip my hammer and hammer skill, pop that Yuka, right? So yeah, there are a lot of things that you can actually pop. For example, with Levy draws the Foxhill, the great one that gives another unit ability to attack from the back row. Like Rezal can have something still help them out from the back row. You can also pop that. There's a lot of things you can do, right? And at least you're giving yourself options because you're already picking up the shield. And when you go from go to the grade 2 to grade 3, you can actually pick 2 arms with different names, right? Because you won't be using another shield, and you will be grabbing another sword. So that's 2 swords. What's left will be these, right? And if you already have enough swords, then you can just grab a pair of these to get yourself prepared. Right. Now, another very key card of the deck is Sealed Blaze Dragon, Yug Mashat. So this is another saver to the deck. And if you don't see this card ever, you probably will lose with this deck. Unfortunately, it just that hard. Now, this card, when it's placed on regular circle from hand, if you have a Vanguard with Sealed Blaze, and then you can use the cost, which is Energy Blast 3, and discard an arm card from hand. You can draw 2 cards, and if your opponent is Graveyard Heart, this unit will get plus 5k until end of turn. The 5k is sort of okay, but the thing that allows you to draw 2 is very, very important. But you might still have some energy usage issue from here and there if you spam this skill too much, and you only have, at least in this build, you only have 6 cards where 3 to 4 of them will go into drop zone, so the chances that you get to draw may not be that much. You can recycle your arms, but that doesn't always happen. And more importantly, you do need to have this card with the second skill. At the end of the battle, your Vanguard with Bavsargra is card name attack. If your opponent is Graveyard Heart, card plus 1 and stand this unit. So this is how you get your multiple attacks, and without this, you cannot do any single multiple attacks. Maximum you can do is 5 without the OT, which is impressive already. That is also the reason why you do need the personal right. Not only that, it gives the 5, here also gives the 5, and you get the personal right, you can get a lot more power. And then that's also forward to pump your front row even further. So it's very important in your mulligan, you try to keep at least 1 copy. If you open your 5 opening hand, you see at least a copy, you need to grab that copy in your hand. It's just that important. And don't play it too early, because it's only active when your opponent is Graveyard Heart. So if you play early and then you get popped, you will cry. You will cry. So make sure you are very cautious to keep this card in your opening hand, and make sure you don't just waste it. And then Apara for the Reborn, because it's simply when you armed, while this card in drop zone, you can energy blast 3 and call to Vagra circle plus 5k, so you can just basically generate something out very fast, because your Vanguard will always have a chance to equip something unless they're all gone, but normally it won't, so you can always at least get an attacker out. But to me, more importantly, is the on play skill. When this unit is on place from Vagra circle to Vagra circle from hand, if you have a Vanguard with Sealed Blaze and card name, they'll get top 5 cards of the deck, choose up to 1 card with overdress ability or the dress boost ability, or up to 1 arms card from among them discarded and shuffle your deck. So this is how you get all your trick moons to the drop zone. So when you see this card in your hand and you don't see a single trick moon, make sure you drop this card to the board. Use this ability log 5 and try to drop as much trick moon as best as you can, because it's just that important. Dropping arms is not important, you have a lot of things, but dropping trick moon is the key to win after you see your multiple attack pieces. So it's a must have 4 of. And then this is, well, some people use it, some people don't use it. It's the Tier that when this attacks a Graveyard Heart unit, if your Vanguard has 2 or more arms, you will get plus 10k, which is okay. And to me, more important is on the Surge skill. When this card is on place on Vagra circle, so plus 1, look at top 7 cards of the deck, just up to 1 card with dress boost ability, and up to 1 arms card from among them, reveal them, choose up to 1 card of the revealed cards put to hand, discard the remaining revealed cards and shuffle the deck. So this is another card for you to look for Trick Moon. And I see somebody's not using this card anymore, but I did see matches that I don't see a single Trick Moon, and 2 of them went to the damage zone, and I never see another one. So yeah, I just too afraid not seeing Trick Moon, so I'm using this still. And then for the Varroid, I was running 3, but being able to have 4 is a lot more important. One, that it cannot simply be targeted by opponent's card effects is already huge, and the more you have, the more dress boost that you can actually apply to the third roll, because you will be doing multiple attacks, so you can actually boost with Varroid on your Riga circle to pump your third roll and then restand it to attack again, or you can actually do a small poke, restand it, and then do a full buff. So it's up to you, but it's very important that you actually see it. And then I'm running 2 of the Shenris. Now Shenris is helping you to draw into pieces to fill up your souls. Is great, but then you do need to like do the draws where your opponents have 1 or less regards, or you actually play an order. And do be careful when you're using your Bavsargra skill to get the arm cards from drop zone and equip it to yourself. It is not playing an order. So if you use Bavsargra skill to equip something from the drop zone, you will not activate Shenri's skill unless your opponent is having 1 or less regards. Do be careful about that. But for early game, it's definitely a good card to apply pressure because it's threatening hit boost. Also, it draws you a card very easily, so I think it's very important. Yeah, and then for PGs, I'm using 3 of the units PG, 1 of the Beast Order, and then 1 of the Train Cast, and then 4 Trick Moon because of Trick Moon. And that's basically everything before I go through the triggers. So you do see I don't have Cindy, and I don't own a Cindy for now, so I'm going for this build until I get into my Cindy reprints. Then maybe I will start using them. But so far, if you don't have a Cindy, I think this is something that you can consider. But if you are looking at our JP World Champion, what he does is he completely drops this for maxing out Shenri, and the rest is basically kind of the same. So it's more of a personal preference that I do want to see my Trick Moon, so I'm doing this, which helps me more because everyone have their own game plan, their confidence and goal in the deck, and I don't actually have a lot of confidence seeing my pieces because I just see so many bad cases. So this is how I went through it. Okay, triggers. Now, Dragon Empire OT, don't have to say, you stand in Vanguard, just great, and you are doing triple drive. That's probably it, right? We might actually see this and Bavsargra having a choice restrict in a very early future, if that actually happening that much, because going back to the World Championship JP, that's basically how a lot of Bavsargra players kill their opponent by doing so, right? It's just like when your opponent is going for 2 pass and then you're suddenly going for OT, not only that you break through the shields, you are doing another triple drive, right? Yeah, so it can be very, very scary. So yeah, for now we will put it in until we get a choice restrict or anything. We will be using it. Sowing crit in case we need the souls. Hopefully not. 4 more crits because crit is very important in this deck. If you can't crit your opponent, you probably won't be able to apply the pressure that fast. So there we go. And trying to get shield because we do want to survive. And usually that 5k actually matters, so I'm going for the trying to get fronts instead of the sewing fronts. And then 4 normal heals, that will be fine. nothing too much to say about that, I guess. So this deck, I have to say, compared to before, it still relies on how early you get your pieces, you get your dream boost, stress boost. Yeah, how you get your thing going. So it just still very parts reliant, but it's less heavy because for the arm parts, the red line will basically prepare everything for you. And even worse of the worst, your opponent is not allowing you to do that. You can still somehow have a lot of searching cards to get through that, and you at least have an arm to do your thing. So as long as you in your opening hand you keep like one arm and one of these, you should be fine. Yeah. Overall, that actually is getting better, because in the past it's just like, okay, we need to keep rotate equipment, what to drop, what to equip again, how to slightly pump the power up because we are only doing 3 attacks, what can we do. Always with a headache, but now we're not. We have a chance to do 4 attacks, and it will happen as long as you get your pieces, because your opponent cannot simply go deck out you without giving you a damage. Probably if they can manage to do that, well, just say you're a good player, I guess. But normally they will give you damage, and that's how you start fighting back. And you have a lot of resource gain in this deck to just keep grinding, pushing hard with 4 attacks or more, and then wait for the red OT, Dragon Empire OT to appear to just end the game for you. And if you didn't see that, it's still a very good 50k shoot, so it's never going to hurt you. And as long as you can protect yourself, you can apply a very big pressure to your opponent, even with a pressure ride, as long as you have the board set up right. So yeah, I can see this deck getting more and more people to use it. It will stay for quite a while, I guess, and she might actually even get a little bit more support in the future, maybe, but we will see. Yeah, I think that's it I need to say about this deck profile. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments down below. Subscribe for more deck profiles, deck fights, unboxing videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.